back. Oh my God, my friend, it is time, the beginning of the month, where I talk about bands I met. And let's get this started. All right, the first one is Lizzie Bordon. Oh my God, what a dream it was for me to finally see Lizzie Bordon live. They were opening for Yngwie, and what was going on is I love Yngwie, by the way. I know many of you hate him, but I love him. But that was the first time I left a concert because it was so loud I couldn't make out what the hell was going on. This was after Lizzie Bordon, by the way. I'm talking about Yngwie's set. Lizzie Bordon sounded awesome, right? So it was so loud. So I ended up walking out with my friend David, and we're like, hey, let's go see if we can meet Lizzie Bordon. And we went up to the tour bus, and sure enough, he came out. Now, what's really funny about this picture was back in the day, this was early 2000s, back in the day, Metal Sludge would put up like fans that wear a Metal Sludge shirt. Like, oh, look, here's another guy wearing a Metal Sludge shirt. Well, they put this picture up, even though I'm not wearing a Metal Sludge shirt, but Lizzie Bordon is. So I had the rare distinction of being, one of these featured fans wearing a shirt where I'm not actually wearing a shirt. Might be the only time, that's ever happened in the history of Metal Sludge. All right, next. Oh, Johanna Sadonis, I think her last name, from the band Lucifer. Newer band, awesome band, incredible band. She is so nice, man, when I met her. And of course, look what she's wearing. And I went off, man. And we both had a nice, pretty long conversation on Merciful Fate. And other stuff she loves, like Black Sabbath and, other stuff. We had a really nice conversation. It was early. I got there early. I went in, the band was sound checking. And I'm already in the club. And they were done sound checking, but they're moving shit around. And she's standing there, and I went up to her. And I had my friend there, and he took these pictures of me and her. She couldn't have been nicer, man. And check out the band Lucifer. They're awesome. All right, next, Mac Sabbath. All right, I don't know the guy's name, but this was the singer of Mac Sabbath, which is a Black Sabbath tribute band that dresses up like McDonald's, characters, and they play Black Sabbath songs, but, they do it with, different lyrics, talking about food and, French fries and stuff like that. And I also met the drummer, who's kind of like Peter Criss looking. But yeah, that's the drummer of Mac Sabbath. And they were great, man. I had a lot of fun seeing them. They were really good. Fun band. All right, next, Madam X. This is Roxy from Madam X. Super, super nice. She's also in Vixen. And man, it was awesome to see Madam X. They played one of those pre-cruise shows, and I've owned that Reserve the Right to Rock since the 80s. So cheesy, but so much fun. I absolutely love it. And yeah, man, I was really, really happy that I got to see them live. All right, and this is Brett, the singer of Madam X. And again, super nice guy, and he still can hit those really high notes that, he did on those Reserve the Right to Rock album. Cool dude. And then there's the sister from Maxine, the guitar player. She shreds. She's awesome. Very nice. Have to meet her. I met the whole band, and I also met the bass player, Chris, who was very nice. I think they called him Godzilla back in the day. I'm not sure, but yeah, as you can see in this picture, he cut his hand. It's all bloody and stuff. Radical, man. Cool dude. Madam X. Love him. All right, next, Mark Ferrari. Also, from Keel and Cold Sweat. And he was in the Wayne's World movie. But, yeah, we interviewed him at Rockin' Pod. And here's me and Ian taking a picture of Mark Ferrari. Super nice guy, man. And I told him how much I love that Keel stuff, man. All right, next, Robin McCauley. This is when I went to go see that Michael Schenker Fest where he had basically almost all their singers and stuff. Super nice guy, you know. He was also in Grand Prix and, you know, Michael Schenker. But man, he's got this newer band called Black Swan. Amazing, amazing stuff. I think Jeff Pilson's also in that band. Red Beach is also in that band. And Matt Starr, who played with Ace Frehley and Mr. Big. Awesome stuff, man. They have 2 albums out there, and I highly recommend you check them out. All right, next. Sicky Wife Beater of the Mentors. Yeah, I did see the Mentors twice with El Duce, but this was after El Duce passed away. They came down, and they didn't perform that well that night. I've seen them perform well, but that night it was kind of sucky. But yeah, Sicky Wife Beater, and here's a picture with everybody in, you know, the whole Mentors lineup with their merch woman. And my friend Brian Wilson right there. Brian Wilson, the great Brutal Brian, who is now in Night Demon. And he's also in Hell Witch. He used to be with Yngwie Malmsteen. A good friend of mine. And he was in my band. Well, our band. Brutal Brian Wilson, me, and the Mentors. All right, next. Michael Sweet of Striper. Now, I refuse to interview Michael Sweet with my co-host of the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast because, you know, he's a radical atheist and I was afraid he was going to say stupid shit to Michael. But there, my friend Bushy had an interview with him and I asked him, can I be part of the interview? He said, sure, man. So, yeah, it was a great, great interview that actually the next day, Michael Sweet came up to me in the lobby. And he's like, dude, that was a really great interview yesterday. Because I brought up some really good points, you know, like that nobody's ever said to him before. How, you know, back in the 80s, they would beat Jesus and God over their head in lyrics. Where now it's kind of like, it's more, you know, reference without saying it as much as they used to before. And questions like that. And he really enjoyed those questions. And he couldn't have been a nicer guy, man. Michael Sweet. All right, next. Mike LaPon from Symphony X. I love me some Symphony X when I saw he was the only one that came out of the band. I mean, I left kind of early that night, but I mean, I left after the show, but usually I hang out real late. And that night I didn't. You know, I kind of left, but on my way out, I saw him and I got to snap the quick picture with him and then went home. All right, next. Not a rock star, not a musician or anything, but Mike Piazza. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame for, you know, baseball. He's from the Mets, and I don't know much about baseball, but you know, my buddy said, hey, that's Mike Piazza from the Mets, blah, blah, blah. And my dad, rest in peace, he was a big fan of baseball. So I figured, hey, my dad might know him. So I took this picture and showed it to my dad. And yeah, he did know him because he's a Hall of Famer, man. Mike Piazza. And that picture was taken at a UFO show. And he was hanging out with Eddie Trunk, which I got a picture with Eddie Trunk too. Somewhere here. But there you go, Mike Piazza. All right, this one is sad. Mike Scasia, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Huge fan of Rigor Mortis, and he's a guitar player, Rigor Mortis. He went on to play guitar in Ministry as well. He had a unique way of playing, you know, it's like really fast, like, you know, chords. He was amazing, and he died not too long after this picture was taken. He had a guitar clinic at a Sam Ash down here, and I went because I love him, you know. Had him sign my CD. And yeah, it was very sad to find out that he passed away not that long after this picture was taken. All right, next, Mitch Perry. This guy's an awesome guitar player. I saw him with, he wasn't Steeler. He replaced Yngwie, but they didn't make no record. I did see him with, when they had Keel Fest, he played with the Steeler. And real nice dude, man. He's a ripping guitar player. I love me some Mitch Perry. All right, next, Motorhead, man. Great Lemmy, man. How sad it is that we no longer have Lemmy. But that was on the motorboat. It took a while to get this picture. It was a long line to meet Motorhead. You know, they brought us in. And, you know, we took this picture. And I'm with this girl here that I met on the cruise that actually was in my, you know, the little room, the bunk, whatever. A friend of mine sold me a motorboat ticket for $600. And then when I got there, I met her, and she was so cool, man. And we hung out the whole time because, you know, that was when I stopped drinking, and she didn't drink, so she was a good companion. And next to her are my two friends, that's Monica and Jose. And yeah, we were all together, and we took that quick picture. Motorhead. And here's another picture with Mickey D on the boat. His lip looks kind of strange. His lip, what it is that he has that tobacco in there. You know, he's, you know, whatever they call that stuff, that tobacco stuff you put in your mouth. And I met Phil Campbell as well. That was the second time I met Phil, and yeah, nice guy. Him and Mickey are awesome dudes. Lemmy was in the casino at one point, and he had this guy with him who came up to me, and he was a nice guy, but he said, hey, don't go up to Lemmy. You know, I said, okay, you know, which is a drag. I wish I could have, but I didn't. But anyway, that's it for this month's Bands I Met, Part 8 or 9, whatever. And I want to thank you all for watching. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and ring that little notification bell. And like the video, it's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and schmack 'em a gob.